All right, guys, we're gonna get started here. It's noon on Saturday, and this is the first Kinstretch class that we are doing together as a group. I thought the best way to start this was basically to describe what Kinstretch is. There is a system that basically, it's called functional range conditioning. So it's a practice of joint control and joint training. So our joints have specific range of motion just depending on what we've done in our entire life. So we start out as a baby. You've all seen how babies move, how babies flex. You can take their leg, you can lift it over their head, you can move their shoulders in any direction. And as we age, we get put into patterns. So these patterns aren't necessarily a good thing. So it's sitting in a desk, sitting at home, sitting in a car, moving our arms not overhead, just kind of basically sitting and typing. So we get stuck into these patterns, and the more patternized we become, the less range of motion we get. And I see this on a daily basis when people come into the gym, the types of patterns that people have been living in. We lose range of motion of our shoulder. We don't have proper range of motion in our ankle or our hip to be able to squat properly. Going into an overhead squat, you can watch a baby just sit all day into a squat and be completely comfortable. And as adults, we can't necessarily do that. So what functional range conditioning does is it finds where our current capabilities lie. So obviously we're all going to be in these patterns. Everyone's going to be in different points in their life with different ranges of motion. So we find what those current capabilities are of ourselves, not the person next to us, not the person that can do a 135-pound overhead squat. It's within our own bodies. So we find where those capabilities are, and then we work at improving those capacities and those capabilities by doing things that I'm going to take you guys through today in a very specific format. Once we find these new capacities and we create these new capabilities, we're now going to work to strength train these at an extreme end range of motion. So for today, we're working on shoulders. We're working adduction and abduction, so that's basically going out to the side and bringing back in. We're working extension and also flexion, so being able to pull the arm in towards our body and out behind our body. So we're gonna work in all different capacities of the shoulder, but again, this practice can be done for everything. It can be done for the spine, for our hips, for our knees, for our ankles, even for our toes. So today we're basically going to work just with our shoulders, but we're also going to start with full body movement. And some of you guys have done these CARs in class. CARS stands for Controlled Articular Rotations. It's taking each of our joints, starting from our head, going down to our toes, and moving them all individually. As we're doing this, I'm gonna ask a couple things of you. So there's two things that we really have to focus on all throughout the day. The first is something called irradiation. Irradiation is basically taking one part of your body, focusing on that aspect of the body, and then tightening everything else around it and only moving that one thing. So we like to think of irradiation as like a little beam of light or a little ball of light. When you flex your muscles and really control the muscles around that beam of light, that light gets bigger and it gets brighter and everything gets a little bit more dense, making sure we're only moving that one specific area of the body. The more intention that you put into this act of irradiation, the more you're gonna get out of this practice today. The second thing is something called a closing angle pain, or I like to call it a pinch point, because that, to me, it seems a little bit easier to understand. So let's say if I'm stretching my hamstring and I pull my leg up and stretching my hamstring this way, I should feel the stretch in this stretch tissue down here. If I'm feeling a pinch in this closing angle, or the angle that's closed, I'm gonna wanna skip that portion of the stretch. So as we go through these daily CARs, starting with our head, going down to our toes, as we go through it, I want you guys to skip out of those ranges of motion that you may feel pinching. We're gonna start these CARs, and we're doing them for time. So we're gonna do 15 seconds in each part of our body, just in a kneeling position. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can sit cross-legged. We're gonna start with our head first. So I want you to bring your chin to your chest. You're gonna scrape that right side of the collarbone with your chin. Tip that head back. Look up towards the sky. Bring your ear to the opposite shoulder and then scrape across that left collarbone. That was a nice, easy rep. Let's stop and go the other direction. Chin to chest, scrape across that left collarbone. Reach the ear back towards your back. Look up at the sky. Bring your ear to the other shoulder. Drop the chin down and then scrape across. So that rep was 0 irradiation. I didn't have you focus on any other part of your body, just basically moving your shoulder. Or moving your neck. You probably got some more movement from your shoulders as well. What I want you to do now is tighten the rest of your body. So you're gonna put your hands down by your sides. You're gonna squeeze your hands, squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your abs, almost like everything is stuck in cement from your collarbones down. Now I want us to do 2 cars, just both directions with the neck the same way that we did before. Now with tension in the rest of our body. Pulling your chin down to your chest. We're gonna go to the right this time. Scrape the chin across the right collarbone. Ear goes back. We're looking up at the sky now. Left ear to the left shoulder. Scrape across that left collarbone. Stop, go the other direction. Moving 1 mile an hour at a time. Looking up towards the ceiling. Ear to the other shoulder. Chin to the right collarbone and coming back into the middle. Now we're gonna move it down to our upper back. So I'm gonna turn sideways to you guys. Cross your hands across your shoulders. Really trying to focus on keeping everything nice and locked in from the hip down. Hands across the shoulders, 1 vertebrae at a time. There's a lot of movement here. I'm gonna pull my elbows down almost to my belt line. Relax the head and get as much flexion as you can. Turn your entire body to the right as if you're talking to somebody on the right side of you. Dip your right shoulder back. Look up at the sky. Bring that left shoulder down. Elbows come down to the left rib cage and then pass through. Go to a second rep on that same side. Really focusing to bring the elbows down. Turning to the right. Right shoulder dips back. We look up at the sky. Left shoulder dips back. Elbows to the left side. Come back to the middle. Stop. Go the other direction. We're going to go to the left now. Elbows down. Turning to the left. Dipping that left shoulder back. Looking up at the sky, right shoulder down, elbows to the rib cage, turning yourself back in, pass through, give me 1 more rep. Thinking of every vertebrae moving at one specific point. Should be dipping back towards the ceiling. Shoulder comes down to the right side and rotating yourself back in. Good work. We finished our neck. We did our back. Now we're gonna work on the shoulders. I want a lot of focus here on the shoulder. We're actually gonna come up into a kneeling position. So let's go left knee up, right knee down. We're gonna start with the left shoulder. So I'm going your hand facing me, facing the screen, palm facing me, and then you're gonna try to turn that thumb as much as you possibly can towards your bent left leg. So my left arm is out, my left leg is up. Twisting as much as I can. Aim to keep your arms straight. Let's take this 1 step at a time. So I'm gonna start coming up as close to the middle of my body as I possibly can. Your arm is gonna start to move out towards your ear. Keep it nice and straight. Bicep is now at the ear. I'm gonna start to turn my thumb towards my head, and you're gonna try to get that bicep to start rotating as much as you can. So thumb starts turning out towards the outside of the room. I'm gonna continue to rotate my hand and my entire arm over as I finish off that circle. Once we get the hand down to the side, we should have the back of the hand by the hip. You're gonna stop, go the opposite direction, arm comes back. Once we get to that point, we can't lift any longer. You're gonna start to rotate the thumb in and up. Once you get out to that body, again, turning that thumb to try to aim down towards the ground. This time, squeeze that right arm down and irradiate for the rest of the body. So I'm squeezing my abs, keeping my butt tight, pushing my foot to the floor, right arm nice and tight. Give me 1 more rep on that left side. Reaching up, elbow starts to come up by the head. You start rotating the hand as much as you can. Continue that axial rotation. We get down to the side, stop, and go backwards. With this, we're trying to get as little movement from the shoulders as we possibly can. Trying not to rotate at the hips. Once we finish that rep, go ahead and switch sides. And as we're doing this, guys, we're really trying to open up the shoulders, trying to get as much range of motion as you currently have, and trying to wring out a little bit more at a time. Right leg is up this time, right hand facing me, left arm down to the side, irradiation through the rest of the body. We're gonna reach up, arm comes up, try your best to keep that elbow nice and straight. Thumb turns in towards the body. We're gonna continue that axial rotation, which is basically just turning that bicep, wringing your shoulder out as if it were a towel. Getting the hand comes down to your side, and then reverse direction, going up, turning that hand once again, coming all the way back up. You may notice that your shoulder on one side is a little tighter. Go ahead and give me one more rep. It might be a little tighter on one side compared to the other. Twisting that thumb in towards your body, continue rotation, bringing it all the way back down to your side, reaching back up, and finish through with that rep. Coming back down to a seated position, once you finish those two shoulders, we're gonna do a couple quick elbow cars and wrist cars, just getting the elbows and wrists moving. Hands are gonna start out in front of me. I want you to focus on keeping the arms straight. So we're not giving any range of motion from the wrist at this point in time, because all of our focus is on the elbow. So with the elbow, we have extension and flexion, but we also have pronation and supination. So we're able to turn the hand up and down at the same time. What I want is this motion to come from the elbow and not the shoulder. Okay, so as we're coming up, just make sure that the elbows are staying glued to your side and your hands are staying straight up. So we're gonna keep these ninja hands. I want us to come up to our shoulders, hands and palms facing your body. When you get up to a full extension, or full flexion, I want you to turn your hands as far out as possible. Okay, so now my thumbs are as far forward as they possibly can. Now I'm gonna turn my hands towards my body, get as much pronation as you can, and then go ahead and press them all the way back down, making sure that the wrists are not moving. Palms up, reach back up, twist, turn down. This time keep the hands facing down, keep the palms facing down, and we're gonna reverse motion. So coming up, now twisting the palms towards your face, coming back down, turning the palms down, bending the elbows, turning the palms up, pressing them back down. Take that same motion, we're gonna do the wrists now. So let's go ahead and make fists. I'm gonna start with your fists coming up towards your face. Pinkies pull in towards one another. You reach your knuckles down to the ground. Thumbs reach out. The out portion is usually the hardest. And then bring yourself back up. Go and do one more rotation. Stop and do two the other direction. As you're doing this, pay attention to your forearms and make sure that they're not dumping. We like to say if you put your cell phone on your forearm, if they dumped, you turned your elbow out. It should be all 100% wrist. We should be doing 2 wrist circles each direction. Once we've hit that second circle, again, if this is an uncomfortable position for you to sit in, you can just go ahead and sit cross-legged. This is always an option as well. Now we're gonna work just the shoulder blades to finish off the upper body. Gonna turn sideways to you. I want your arms just directly out in front of you. So I'm going straight out in front of me, and I want us to move just the shoulder blades. Okay, so the shoulder blades move back, they move forward, they move up, and they move down. A lot of times when we ask people to only move the shoulder blade, we get a lot of motion from the rib cage and a lot of motion from the spine as well. I want us just focusing on shoulder blade in this component. So hands are out. We're gonna reach the arms out as far as you can. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. Pull the shoulder blades back, pull them down, and then you're gonna reach them back out. So you're thinking that you're making small little circles with your hands out in front of you, only moving the shoulders. Give me 3 circles one way, stop and go the other direction. As you're doing this, make sure that the back and the spine are not chiming in. We're only getting motion from the shoulder. Again, this is a shoulder focused class, so we should focus on only moving those shoulders and getting those shoulder blades moving independently. Once we're done with those shoulders, we should feel nice and loose in the upper body. Let's get our hips, our knees, and our ankles, and then we'll move our toes a little bit, which I know is very weird and strange for some people. So don't worry if you have a really rough time once we get down to the toes, because I have a hard time with them as well. So we're gonna go with the hips, but I want you in a quadruped position. So basically from your knees and your hands, We'll do this the right side first, just because you can see me best on this right side. Aiming to just move this hip in a large circle, okay? So if I took my knee and I just drew a quick circle, you can kind of feel what that feels like in the hip, all right? Now what I want us to do is try to expand that circle as big as we can get it. So follow along with me here. We're gonna bring the right knee up to the right elbow. Right knee comes out to the side. Hold that position, okay? Get a feeling for that. You might actually cramp when I tell you to hold that position. What I want us to do now is reach your foot up, but try to keep your knee in that same spot. So if I reached it up and dropped my knee, that's what it would look like. So I'm gonna reach my foot up as much as I can, continue to move back behind you with the knee, and then pull that knee in to meet the other knee. We'll stop in reverse direction, so knee goes back. We reach out with the knee, get it up as high as we possibly can, reach back up to the elbow with the knee, and pull it back in. Let's do a little smoother rep this time. Right knee to right elbow, right knee up, ankle reaches up, knee comes out and around. Stop, reverse direction, knee out. Reach that knee up as much as we can. Reach it back up to the elbow and back down. Let's go ahead and give you the left side now. Left knee up to the left elbow. Left knee reaches out away from my body. Left foot reaches up. Do not drop that knee. Come back down, meet the other knee. Knee goes back. We reach out. Left knee up to the elbow and back in. Give me one more rep of that. Pay attention to the low back here. A lot of times when we move the hips, the low back likes to chime in as well. I don't want much movement from that low back. So we're going out, we're coming back around, meeting that knee. Switching to our knees now. So we're gonna try to get a little bit of extension and flexion from the knee, just like our elbow, and we should be able to get the same kind of pronation, supination. We should get some twisting in here as well. We're gonna move to a laying down position, starting with the leg flexed. Let me move this chair so you guys can see me. So leg starts flexed. You're gonna turn your foot completely in towards your body. A lot of this motion should not come from the ankle, but it should come from the shin. I'm gonna extend my leg as much as I can, and then turn my foot completely out. As you turn it out, you're trying to see the shin actually spin along with you. Bend your leg again, foot in towards your body, extend, foot out, bend. Keep your foot out. We're gonna reach up again, extend the leg, turn the foot in towards your body, bend the leg. Turn the foot out, extend, turn the foot in, bend. Go ahead and give me the same reps on this other side. Foot starts in towards the body with our leg bent. Reach up, extend the leg, turn the foot out, bend the leg. Foot in towards the body, reach up, turn the foot out, reach down. Make sure that you're not getting movement from the hip on here. Give me one more rep. Foot out, extend, foot in, bend, and then we'll move to the ankles. Switch back to that first side. Foot goes up. You're gonna push down your foot like you would a gas pedal. Turn your pinky toe out. Bring your foot up. Roll it over so the big toe is moving towards your body. And then we should be back in that kind of gas pedal position. Go through, give me one more circle. Take this 1 mile an hour at a time. It's just super simple for people to speed through this. Stop once you finish that rep, go the other direction, give me 2 more repetitions of the ankle. I want you to find discrepancies in this. I want you to find that when you're moving your foot, you might have a point that just kind of like takes off or shudders a little. Switch sides, 3 reps each side for the ankle on the left side. What we're trying to find here is we're trying to find issues that your body has with movement. Sometimes it's just our mind shutting them off. Sometimes we haven't moved into that capacity in a really long time and we don't understand how our body's supposed to move that way. Once you guys have done 3 one way, 3 the other, I'm gonna ask that you stand up. No, we switch sides. If you have not switched sides, switch to the left side. Do 3 circles one way with the ankle, 3 circles the other. I'm standing up. I have a little explanation to do with the toes, so if you're still working on your ankles, don't worry. We're gonna take a step back, And what I want you to do is take your socks off. We, as a human species, took our foot and we shoved it into a shoe, and we don't move our toes independently. And what we find is a lot of issues with arches collapsing, a lot of issues with ankles twisting, turning, and a lot of times that completely cuts off the ability to squat well. So it's important for us to take the shoes off sometime, take the socks off sometimes, especially now that we're all kind of forced to being at home. And we're just gonna stand. So the first thing that we're gonna do is push all 4 of your toes down and try to lift your big toe. Don't be surprised if your pointer fingers also move along with the toes. For some reason, my mind just does it. My pointer fingers move to get my big toes moving. Go ahead and lower them back down. All 4 toes push in, big toes lift up. If you cannot do this, don't be surprised. Go ahead and push the big toes up, as long as the intention is there to try to push the big toe up. Push the big toes down, and now all 4 lift. Bring them back down. Same thing here, all 4 lift, big toes down. If you have a hard time doing this, we need to do it more often. Okay, give me 1 more rep with all 4 of the toes picking up, big toes stay down. All 5 toes lift up, big toe just comes down. This is a very tough one for me. Give me 5 reps of this. But I've been practicing, I've been getting better and better. After we're done with 5 reps, go ahead and rest your feet. Bring all 5 toes up, and we're gonna try to go pinky toe, ring toe, middle toe, pointer toe, big toe. All 5 up, pinky toe, ring toe, middle toe, pointer toe, big toe. Mine kind of go like 2 at a time. But again, the intention is there. I'm trying to move each individual toe separately because our toes should move like our fingers, and most of us don't. That will be the end of our car session. So now we should have moved everything from our head down to our toes. You can take that session and do that every single morning. It's a really good practice to get yourself into. And now we're going to go into our actual training. Okay, so a lot of people think of this as a stretch class. This is not a stretch class. What we're going to do is take your body to end ranges of motion. Okay, so again, we're doing abduction, adduction of the shoulder. I'm taking you to an extreme end range of motion that feels comfortable for you. Okay, so don't push past the point of stretching. Don't push past the point of actual pain. I want you just to get yourself into a comfortable stretch. Okay, so it's your end range of motion. As we're doing this, a lot of this stretching is done for time. We're going to hold a stretch for a specific period of time, and then I'm going to ask you to do movements, which is our strength training component. Okay, so this is a lot of the things that we've had in last week's training, our frog pose leg lifts, some of our 90-90 stuff, that tripod leg lift. That's taking your body to an end range of motion and forcing it to move. That's why people got so sore from it, people cramp from it, because we're not used to doing this. So what I want you to do is find yourself a chair, an ottoman, a couch, something that we can get our arm up to. I'm going to use this chair. Okay, I'll give you a couple minutes here, just see if you have to go grab something. And our first task, we're going to do something that's called pails and rails. Pails stands for progressive, rails stands for regressive, and it's angular isometric loading. So taking your body to an extreme angle and isometrically loading it, which basically means there's going to be very little to no movement in that load, but your body is putting intent into it. So in this position, let's start with the left side. Okay, for me, this is a pretty low object, so I'm just going to sit in kind of like a collapsed, comfortable 90-90 position. Some people will have to sit cross-legged. Some people might even have to be up on their knees. What I'm trying to do is I'm bringing this arm directly out from my body. So my top of my arm is 90 degrees out, and then my forearm is 90 degrees down. I'm going to bring myself down till I feel a good stretch in this front part of my pec. So all of this, if you've done one of those like pec deck machines at the gym, this is what it should feel like in this stretch. We're going to sit in this stretch and just kind of get the tissues to relax a little bit in here. So go ahead and just relax. If you want to stack up a couple pillows to kind of prop your chest up, you can do that. But I want us kind of sitting into this stretch just to get the tissue starting to move. So our first process is going to be pales and rails, okay? Our pales, or our progressive, is all of this tissue that's being stretched, okay? So we can activate this by actually pushing my arm into the chair. You should feel this activate. You can relax, you don't have to push that hard. And then our regressive tissue is everything back behind. So everything where my t-shirt is all scrunched up, all right? You can usually activate this by pulling the arm off of the chair, okay? So progressive is pushing down, regressive is pulling up. Since we are in this extreme stretch, I'm not gonna be able to actually pull my arm off of this chair, but the intention is gonna be there. I'm gonna actively, intentively try to lift my arm off of this chair, okay? We're gonna do 2 sets, both with the left arm, pushing down for 15 seconds, immediately going into rails, trying to pull up for 15 seconds. We'll get a little deeper in the stretch, and we'll perform this again. If you guys are with me, we're gonna start here. I have a clock going to hold us accountable. I'm in that deep stretch. I'm gonna start my pales, and I'm slowly gonna start to build up. So slowly start to push your forearm into the chair. We should be ramping up to about 30%. Pushing slowly into 31, 32, 33, slowly ramping up, should be around 40%. Ramping yourself up, pushing down into the chair with 60% effort, 70% effort. Get yourself up to about 85. Now with your safest and greatest effort, I want you pushing as hard as you can into the chair. We're gonna keep pushing here. Keep driving down, give as much pressure as you can towards the ground. This is where we're getting all of our strength for our shoulder. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Immediately try to lift that arm off the chair. It might come up a little bit. Squeeze the back shoulder blade together. You can push your hand up against that floor. Really try to reach up higher and higher and higher towards that ceiling. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and slowly get a little deeper into the stretch. Cassie's back hip cramped. If you're having hip cramps, you can go ahead and sit into a cross-legged position instead. Cramping is completely normal in this, okay? It's getting your body into a comfortable or an angle that you're not comfortable with. So we're trying to get a little deeper into this stretch. Okay? And we're gonna do one more. What that tells me is Cassie's intentively pushing as hard as she possibly can, okay? We're gonna start this pales in 3, 2, 1. Again, it's a slow ramp up, slowly pushing in, about 20%, 30%. Get yourself up to 40%, pushing down, 50%, 60, we should be at 70, giving yourself more pressure into that chair as much as you possibly can. Tighten the rest of the body, we're at 100%. Keep giving the effort, keep pushing down against that chair as much as you possibly can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift up. Aim to keep reaching towards the ceiling. You should feel the back of the shoulder and all that regressive tissue start to fire. Keep pulling up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your wrist equal with your elbow. 2, 1, relax. Rough set, huh? This is what we are going to be doing this entire day. So if you guys are having a hard time with the angle of wherever this chair lays, get yourself up into a comfortable position. You can bring your arm out of this. We're gonna stay with the chair and stay on the left side. Now we're going to only focus on this regressive tissue. So everything in the back here, okay? I'm going to keep myself in the same angle, elevator myself down, okay? So I'm gonna get myself as low as I possibly can go. When I say, again, this is only focusing on the regressive tissue. So I'm gonna squeeze and feel my body tighten, trying to hold my arm in place. Once I get that position, what we're gonna do is a 5-second hold. So I'm gonna elevate her up, hold my arm into that same position, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly lower back down and relax. I'm gonna squeeze that regressive tissue, push myself up with my other hand, hold for 5 seconds, and relax. So again, we should only be feeling this position, everything in this back shoulder blade. So I'm squeezing this rear delt, my shoulder, my scap, all of the rhomboid tissue back in here and squeezing everything back. We're gonna do 5 reps, 5 seconds each. Get yourself down in that position. I'm gonna lay down just because I am a little bit more flexible than most. I'm gonna lay down, get that stretch in my pec. Together here, we're gonna do this one step at a time. So squeeze your shoulder, squeeze that left arm, try to feel everything in the back side of your body fire. We're gonna hold this position and lift off of the chair. 3, 2, 1, slowly parachute your body down and relax. Squeeze that tissue, lift up, 3, 2, 1, lower back down. Should only feel this in the lower or in the back side of the body. Squeeze that regressive tissue, the shoulder blade, the lat, lift up, 3, 2, 1, lower back down. Really try to keep the angle of the elbow and the wrist the same, so we're not lifting up the wrist, we're not lifting up the elbow. We got 3 more reps here. Squeeze the back, lift up, 3, 2, 1, lower back down. Squeeze regressive tissue, lift up, 3, 2, 1, lower back down. 1 more, guys. Squeezing everything in the back side, lifting up, 3, 2, 1, lower back down, relax. Now our aim is going to be in this progressive tissue. So that back should feel a little bit fired up. You can even pull that arm across your side and see how this tissue in the back is pretty tired. It's very rare for us to train the shoulder in this position, so don't be surprised if you're a little fired up from that. Now we're gonna work into this stretching side, so the progressive side, okay? Still on the left side, I know we have not switched sides, we'll do that next, but we're gonna do lift-offs this time. So I'm gonna lower my body down, feel the stretch in my pec, so I may need to kind of move out away from that chair a little bit to feel that stretch in the front side of my body. This is as deep as I can go in this stretch. So if I was asked to lift my arm in this position, I can't do it. So what we need to do is find that stretch, get yourself as deep in it as you can, and then I want you to lift your body about 10 degrees. So I'm just gonna prop myself up on that elbow. Now if I try to lift, I can bring my arm just a little bit off the chair. I don't want you lifting up so high that you can completely pull your arm off that chair as much as you want. I want it just a little bit. You should be able to like slide a credit card underneath your arm when I ask you to lift. We're doing 1 set of 15 lift-offs. So again, this is all training this progressive tissue. So we should be training the pec and the front side of the delt here. Coming down to that stretch, reaching yourself down again. You should feel the stretch right here, nice and light. Pulling myself about 10 degrees out, propping yourself up on your elbow, and we're gonna lift off. When I say go, I don't want it just slamming back down. Tightening your body, it should be a lift only from the shoulder. Starting here in 3, 2, 1. Lift, relax. Go, relax. Go, relax. Go, relax. Go, relax. Rep 6, go, relax. Go, relax. Go, relax. Go, relax. Go, relax. 5 more. Go, relax. Go, relax. Go, relax. Go, rest. Go, rest. That's it. 15 reps. Give me 1 shoulder cars on that side. So just go ahead and bring your left arm facing forward, reaching up, coming back around. It should feel a little heavy, but it actually should feel pretty nice. Mine's moving a lot more smooth. There's lots less clicks and clacks in there. But yeah, I'm for sure a little fired up in that shoulder. My pec feels pretty lit up as well. So we are going to do the same exact training now on our right side. So you guys can just turn sideways. I'm gonna just move my chair. We have to remember that just because there are 2 shoulders does not mean they are treated the same. So my left shoulder may be a lot more flexible in this position than my right shoulder, or vice versa. We have to treat this as an individual joint. So I'm gonna put my right arm up and we're gonna start with pails and rails. A reminder for this, we're pushing into the chair for 5 or 15 seconds, and then we're pulling off of the chair, but there should be no movement up because I'm gonna get you guys into that full stretch. So that right arm stays up as you're gonna lower your body. To me, just coming and finding this stretch, I want you to find the stretch in your pec, your shoulder, figure out where that position is. For me, my right shoulder feels a lot tighter in this position. So my left shoulder, I could probably lay down. Right shoulder, I'm for sure not there. So I'm just sitting in this position, getting my body to stretch, getting the tissues fired up, just feeling how this stretch feels and getting yourself into a proper position. We're gonna start with pails and rails in an extreme stretched motion. So I should be able to push into the chair. If I asked you to lift your arm up in this position, you would not be able to do it, or it would just barely move. Okay, so make sure that you're in as deep of the stretch as you can get in. You're gonna lower the body down, and we're gonna start pails and rails here. 3, 2, 1. Slowly push your forearm into the chair. Continue to ramp up. We should be pushing at about 30% now. 35%, 36, 37, 38. We're not skipping. We should be somewhere around 45%. Working your way up to 55%. Slowly getting yourself up to a full 100% effort, pushing as hard as you can into this chair. We're gonna keep driving that forearm down, keep pushing your body deeper into this stretch. Try to pull your forearm into your lat. Continue to push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift up. Try to train that regressive tissue. We're pulling off the chair, reaching up towards the sky. Do not move the rest of your body. Continue to reach. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and get a little deeper into that stretch if you can. You can move your body away from the chair if you need to. Trying to get a little deeper into that stretch. You owe me one more set of these. I'll let you sit here for a little bit. Let the tissue relax. We're going to start to go again. Starting with pails, pushing into the chair. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull that forearm down. Remember, start ramping up. This is a slow process to get yourself to 100% effort, 100% pressure. Continue to push down. We should be somewhere around 60%. Squeeze the rest of your body. Make use of that irradiation. Should be up towards that greatest effort that you can give me, pushing at 100% now, squeezing the forearm down, trying to break the chair, try to tip the chair over, keep pushing 100% effort. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift up. Lift as much as you can, reach towards that ceiling, continue to reach the forearm up to the sky, reach, don't let go, keep pressure everywhere else. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. You can come out of that, let the arm relax a little bit. Again, we're now just gonna move right into the regressive training tissue, so that back side. We're gonna keep that same motion. If you need to shake the arm out a little bit, you can. This should be like the best pec exercise and workout that you've done in a long time. We're gonna get that forearm back up on the chair, bringing the body back down into that stretch. Again, in this position, if I squeeze as hard as I can, I squeeze my arm, squeeze my shoulder, I pull everything back. If I use my other hand to lift up, my arm goes with me. Okay, that's what we're trying to aim for. I'm not trying to get you to squeeze and then lift the arm away from the body. We're basically pulling our torso and our shoulder together as one and then lifting them together. Okay, so the aim is to squeeze that arm back, hold that position, and then use the opposite arm to elevate your body up. We're gonna do 5 of these. So we're gonna come down to that stretch position, get yourself nice and low, squeezing that forearm, using the other arm on the floor as an elevator position. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, hold tight to that hand. We're going to lift up in 3, 2, 1. Elevator up, hold. 3, 2, 1, parachute down. Squeeze that tissue again and up. Hold. 3, 2, 1, back down. Aim to keep your wrist equal with your elbow. Squeeze that tissue. Up. 3, 2, 1, relax. 3 more. Squeeze in the tissue, lift up. 3, 2, 1. Relax, trying to pull that arm back towards the ceiling as much as we can. Squeeze and lift up. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Take a second off of that chair. Stretch your forearms out if you need to. Everything should feel pretty heavy. Now we got to train that progressive tissue. Again, we're doing this with lift-offs. You're gonna get yourself down to that extreme stretch. Feel the stretch in your pec. We're gonna come up about 10 degrees so we can lift the forearm all as one. Again, I don't want that wrist to come up high. I don't want that elbow to come up high. We're trying to keep the arm as flat as we possibly can. So find that stretch. Stretch into that position. Get a good stretch in the pec in the front of the shoulder, and then prop yourself up a little bit. In this position here, you're gonna squeeze everything nice and tight. We're gonna do 15 lift-offs together as one. 3, 2, 1. Lift off, down, up, 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 down. Very little movement, guys. Up, down, up. This is rep 10, down. 5 more. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Rest. Bring yourself out of that. Our shoulders should be pretty lit up now. I know mine are. Give yourself a little break. Again, we can test this by doing the shoulder cars with the right arm now. Reaching up, bringing that arm in, kind of squeeze out that range of motion. I know right in that kind of rotation portion, that's where I can really feel this type of training on my tissue. Coming back, wrapping back around, and relaxing. Whew, you doing okay over there, Cass?
Yeah, feeling my upper back.
Upper back, absolutely. So we think of this too, a lot of times when people go for their overhead positioning, they reach up overhead and this is all they got. So usually this is the back being the limiting factor in the shoulder movement. So if I bring that shoulder out to as much abduction or adduction as it possibly can, it's gonna get that back kind of flared up and lit up as well. So we have to strength train the back to be able to get the arms up and overhead in a good fashion as well. We're gonna stay in a seated position. Just because we've been kind of on the knees, I want us just sitting with our legs straight out in front of us. We will not need this chair anymore, so if you can get it out of the way, you can. Or you can just kind of turn around. This time we're gonna work flexion and extension, okay? So my arm can flex across my body and it will extend. We're gonna be in a fully extended position today, so back and behind us. This is where we're going to need like a broomstick. I am lucky enough that I have a PVC pipe, but you can also use a countertop in this position as well for the extreme extension. First, we're gonna train the flexion. We'll start with that left side to give the right arm a little bit of a break. We'll train in 2 different ways for flexion. So we have to think with the arm across the chest, okay? Our tissue that is being stretched is everything back here. So this is the progressive tissue. And then the regressive is everything where your shirt kind of gets all pinched and bundled up. So the regressive tissue in this is all this pec stuff right in here, all of this type of tissue, okay? In this, we have to make sure that we're not using the bicep or the tricep in pushing and pulling, okay? So our first motion is gonna be left arm across the chest, right arm locking it into place. I'm gonna just relax that left shoulder down, and we're gonna do the same thing, pails and rails. Pails is I'm gonna push my entire arm into my right hand. So I'm acting like I'm pushing that arm away from my body while keeping it nice and straight. If you give yourself a little bit of tension and pressure, you should feel that on the outside of the shoulder. Rails, so when I say rails, we're gonna let go with the right arm, and I'm gonna try to squeeze this arm in towards my chest by pulling everything in. So again, I'm not bending the elbow and using the shoulder in this. Ready? Ready? We're gonna start with the left arm. We're doing 2 rounds here, 15 seconds of pails, 15 seconds of rails. So we can just kind of sit in this stretch. Hopefully you guys have been sitting here, finding that stretch in the shoulder. I'm gonna tighten my arm up and get ready for this pails. Pails is a slow ramp up, slow and progressive. So I want you to start pushing into your right forearm as much as you can, nice and steady. We're gonna do 30% push, 40%. Your right arm is gonna start to tighten as well. We're gonna tighten up the abs. Start pressing. We should be somewhere around 80% pressure out towards that right arm. Go ahead and give me 100%, safest and greatest effort. Again, we should be feeling this in the shoulder as much as you can. Keep giving me pressure, keep pushing. We're gonna do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that hand and pull the arm in towards your chest. Rails. Pulling that arm in, don't let it drop down. Continue to pull that arm as close to your right shoulder as you possibly can. Give me 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Woo!
What if the arm bends?
So if the arm bends just because you're trying to make sure that you're not going to hurt your elbow, that's totally fine. What I want you to feel is the intention of the activity coming from this portion. So as long as you still feel it here, it's okay for that arm to bend, okay? If you need that range of motion for a bent arm. But if you're feeling it in your bicep and your tricep because you're like locking someone's head in, we gotta make sure that the intention is to train this tissue, okay? Instead of using our arm now, so instead of wrapping that arm around, I'm just gonna give you a secondary option. So we've done this stretch in class before, where you bring your arm out in front of you and you bring the left arm underneath. This is called the thread the needle. So what we're doing now, the floor is acting like that arm up and around you. So in progressive, we're gonna try to drive the shoulder down into the floor as much as you can. So you're trying to drive the left shoulder down as much as you can. In rails, you're trying to lift the arm up. It most likely will not move off the floor, but again, we're trying to get that pressure on the inside part of the chest. So reaching the right arm out, left arm comes under. We're gonna do this set of pails and rails together. You can do this laying down. I'm gonna do it in kind of a collapsed quadruped position. We're gonna do this first round together here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push against the floor, slow ramp up, 20%, 30%. Should be slowly pushing that arm and forearm down into the ground, pushing the shoulder down. Should be upwards around 60%, up to 70, 80%, squeezing the rest of the body around you, pushing into that floor at 100% effort. Safest and greatest effort here. We go 15 full seconds, guys. Keep pushing into the floor. Should feel that shoulder start to light up, that rear delt start to light up. You got 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Try to squeeze that arm in towards the chest. Continue to pull it off. If there is a scale underneath your arm, it's getting lighter. It should read 0. Giving 15 seconds here. Continue to pull that arm as much as you can off the floor. Pull. Reach up. Reach up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Which one did you feel more?
The first one.
The first
I
one?
couldn't even get my arm off the ground.
That's okay. If you can't get your arm off the ground, it's just the intent of pulling it up should fire up this tissue. So I wanted to do that in 2 different positions to allow you to feel which one felt best. So when we move to switching sides, you guys will know which one to do. But now we're gonna work, since we did flexion, now we're gonna work an extension, okay? We're gonna do that same left side, and we're gonna use a pole, a countertop, a high, at back end of the couch, whatever you can use. I would use like a broom or a Swiffer, whatever you got around the house that we can actually put behind your body. So I'm gonna reach that pole behind my body. To me, I was just kneeling, so I'm gonna bring myself up into a lunge. Left leg is back, left arm is back. Okay, so this is extension. I'm trying to work my arm in as much extension as I can. For me, I can continue walking this arm up until I feel a really good stretch in the front part of this shoulder. And play around with your hand positioning. If this feels more comfortable for you, that's fine. I feel more comfortable with my thumb facing down. If you feel this too much in the elbow, just go ahead and bring the arm in a little bit, give yourself a little elbow bend. What I'm looking for is a stretch in the front part of the shoulder. What we're gonna do here is some pails and rails in this position. So I'm gonna push down into the floor, which is pails. I should feel the shoulders start to kind of roll forward, pushing down, and then acting like you're gonna lift up in rails. So I'm gonna try to pull the pole off the floor, but since I'm in such a stretched position and my hand is up so high on this PVC pipe, I cannot get this pole off the ground. Maybe a tiny bit. That's okay. I don't want you like bending to get this off the ground. Okay, it's just the intent of pulling up. We're gonna do this one for 15 seconds. Pails, we're gonna start with a ramp up. Starting in 3, 2, 1, start pushing that pole into the floor. Should feel the shoulders start to roll forward slightly. Nothing should be shaking, should be upwards around 30, 40%. Pushing everything down into the ground. You can use your other hand, should be around 80%. Starting to ramp up tension, squeeze your abs, push your feet to the floor. Give me 100% effort. Safest and greatest effort. Pushing that pole into the ground as much as you can. Continue to drive down, making the scale heavy on the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Aim to pick the pole up off the ground. Give me 15 good solid seconds of this pull. You might even feel a hamstring cramp in here. Use the rest of your body to pull up higher. That scale on the floor should read 0. Continue to reach up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Lower the hand down. Same position. Gonna do lift-offs. 15 lift-offs in this position, and then we'll switch sides. So now our hand is out of that extreme stretch. We're gonna do 12 reps. Let's do 12 reps. Keeping everything nice and tight, squeeze everything together. We're gonna start lift-offs in 3, 2, 1. Lift up, down, up, down, up, down. Just the shoulder moving, up, down, up, down, up. That's halfway, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 2 more, guys. Up, down, rest. Woo. All right, we're gonna roll through this with the right side. We are almost done. Once we finish the right side, that's completely done. Holy crap, my left arm feels heavy. So we got the right side now. We're gonna start again with that arm across the body. So go ahead and drop your pole, drop your PVC, lean against the wall. If you felt better in this position, stay in this position for both sets. If you felt better on the ground, go to the ground, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna start with that arm across the chest. Let's get that stretch into the right side. Sitting here for about 5 more seconds. If you guys are on the ground, that right arm is gonna come down to the floor. The left arm is reaching out in front of you. We're gonna start with pails, again, pushing into the floor or pushing into the arm across the chest. Start to ramp up in 3, 2, 1. Slowly start pushing out against the arm, pushing out against the floor, ramping that up to 30%, 40%, 50%, going up to 60, 61, 62, 63, up to 70%, 80%. Give me your safest and greatest effort, pushing everything out into that arm, into the floor. Continue driving, drive that shoulder forward, drive that arm forward. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the arm or push up towards the floor. Pull the arm in towards your chest. Continue to reach in towards the chest. Keep the arm relatively straight. Squeeze that pack as much as you can. Give me 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. If you want to stay in that position, you can. We got 1 more set here. Coming back up into that position, we're going to start with pails. Slowly pushing out into the arm. 20%. Should be around 30%. 40, 50, 60. Working up to 80%. Give your safest and greatest effort out, pushing out as much as you can. Push against the floor, push against your arms, squeeze the rest of your body. Continue to drive, give me more if you have it. Push as hard as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Pull that arm in towards your chest. Keep driving up. Release the pressure from the scale that you're pushing your arm into. Squeeze. Squeeze the arm in towards your chest. Squeeze the chest together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Woo. That was a rough one. Cass says she's going to be sore. I'm going to be sore too. You guys definitely should all be sore. This is very minor tissue that we're training here. We got our last ones, pails and rails in extension and lift-offs in extension. So we're going to get that arm up. Right arm should be back behind you. My right knee is down on the ground if you do want to come to a kneeling position. Reach up as much as you can on that pole to feel a good stretch in the shoulder. Just sitting into this stretch. Your left arm should actually feel pretty dead right now. I know mine does. And we're going to start with pails and rails in this position. We're going to do it twice. Okay? Slowly pushing in down towards the floor. Give me 20% effort. Driving into the floor, squeezing your knees together, ramping up. You should be somewhere around 40% effort now. Reaching yourself up to about 60%, making that scale on the floor as heavy as possible. Getting yourself up to 80%, rolling the shoulder forward as we push down. Give me 100% effort, driving into the ground. Push as hard as you can, squeeze the rest of your body. Give me as much pressure as you can into that floor. Keep driving down, keep driving down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to lift that pole. It's probably not going to come off the ground, but aim to lift it. The intent is to reach up as much as you can. Give me as little pressure on that scale as you possibly can give me. Keep reaching up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. If you can, reach up a little higher on that pole. We got one more set of pails and rails, and then we have 12 lift-offs. As we're doing this, guys, aim to stay upright. The more that we lean, the more motion we're gonna get from the torso. I want us to try to get this just from the shoulder, okay? I know my head was turned down in this position. Aim to try to keep it up so we're getting as much of this from the shoulder as we can. We're gonna ramp up into pails. Give me 20% effort pushing down to the floor. Wake up that tissue again, should be somewhere around 40%. Continue to push down, roll that shoulder forward if you need to feel more pressure in the shoulder. Should be somewhere around 60%. Give me 80% effort, 100% safest and greatest effort. Keep driving down, push into the floor as much as you possibly can. Keep giving me more. When you don't think you have it, squeeze the rest of the body, give me more. I want 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach up. Continue to drive the arm up. Aim to get that pole off the ground as much as you can. Stay upright with the rest of the body. Squeeze. Give me more. Reach higher. Reach up to the ceiling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. You can rest that arm a little bit, but we are going to be in extension again one more time. We have 12 lift-offs, and then we are completely done for class. Reach your arm back behind. Get yourself in that stretch. Bring yourself down about 6 inches. So we should be able to kind of lift that pole off the ground just slightly. Take a big, nice, deep breath with me. We're going to do 12 lift-offs here. Squeezing the rest of the body. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lift off. Down. Up. Down. Just coming from the shoulder. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Good job. 6. Down. Up. 7. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. 2 more. Up. Down. Up. Down. Rest. Whew. Good work, everybody. Congratulations on finishing your first Kinstretch class. Thank you so much for giving me your attention today. Thank you so much for giving me your effort today. I really, really appreciate all of your guys' commitment to this facility, commitment to this community. We're going to continue to do these things more often, continue to host live sessions. I think it's super fun to get you guys in here, get you working together as a group. If you have any questions about today's practice, please shoot me a DM. You can also email me if you need to. I'm here for you, and I want to make sure that you guys fully understand exactly what we're doing today. I'm going to say in about an hour, you will fully understand how sore your arms are going to be. So good work. Thank you for streaming in live for our first live session at the gym. I had a ton of fun. I hope you guys did too. Good job.